Han Solo is probably my favorite character in Star Wars fiction, with maybe only a few characters that rival him, like the cunning, Light Yagami-esque Thrawn, and the infinitely badass Lady Sith Asajj Ventress. Yet, anytime someone asks me who my all-time favorite Star Wars character is, I usually point at the cynical, charming space captain. Because, come on son, in a world full of magical space wizards, thug-life Mandalorians, and rebels who are trying to save the galaxy, you got Solo over here just trying to survive, get that bread, and play slap-ass with a princess in his downtime. I mean, shit, I can't get mad at that. It's a vibe. Plus, he's best friends with a Wookiee who's hilarious as hell, despite the fact that we the audience never quite know exactly what he's saying, which does actually make everything a bit better because, you know, we the audience get to use our imaginations to fill in the blanks. Speaking of imagination, when I was a kid, I had this baller-ass Millennium Falcon toy, and every time your boy picked it up, I came up with all these wild scenarios, which usually involved me coming up with hella schemes to solve a particular issue, just like cinema's best space captain would do. So yeah, Han Solo was a character I always looked up to. One of many reasons being because, well, he's always had a plan. Not all of them were bangers.
You happen to notice that freighter down there? You know what's on it? About 30 hired guns. All I gotta do is give them the signal, you're surrounded.
Sorry, do your thing.
But Han's deceitful schemes and tactics helped him get out of many tough situations. When most would have surrendered, Han would have tried diplomacy. When diplomacy wasn't the answer, Han would have tried lying. And when lying wouldn't work, Han would shoot first, then ask questions later.
I bet you have.
I hope you're still paying attention because now I'm going to tell you the most important.
Look, point being, Han wasn't the chosen one. He was just some normal-ass dude with a crafty-ass mind and a gun. Oh, and he maintained one of the fastest ships in the galaxy. This dude Solo knew the game and he played it well. But our boy wasn't always so streetwise. At one point in time, he got what you call played, finessed, curved. So sit back, cause we're about to talk about how Han Solo went from minor street scams to captain of the Millennium Falcon. Let's get it. To me, this is probably one of, if not the most important shot in all of Solo: A Star Wars Story. But you see, in order to understand why, let's go back a bit. Like way back, to the beginning.
Like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm Solo.
So this whole movie could be perceived as the tutelage of Han Solo, and a fun glimpse into how he became the man we all know and love in Episode 4. Now, even if you're not a fan of, say, this movie, the visual language that this film maintains is pretty solid to say the least. I personally found Solo: A Star Wars Story fun. Not great, not bad. Now, if you happen to love this movie, then by all means, go ahead and project that love. So yeah, the visuals in this movie, let's talk about them.
Han Solo.
His name was Solo.
Han Solo.
He was a pilot with a blaster at his side and a smile 12 parsecs wide.
In the opening scenes of this film, our titular character Han and his partner Kira are stuck on the shipbuilding planet known as Corellia. Both characters work for Lady Proxima, who makes her living by finding runaway youths and essentially forcing them into labor. Now, for the most part, every youth that's shown is either covered in dirt and sweat, or they have an impoverished aesthetic, Han and Kira included. Be mindful of that. We're informed that after a job went south, Han must now pay for his failures. And after a few light beatings and some threats from the villainous Proxima, Han stands up and decides he's had enough and begins to fight back. But once it's clear that Han's life is in danger, Kira takes the diplomatic approach and begins to reason with Proxima informing us earlier on that our beloved Kira is quite adept in high-stress situations and is very capable of thinking her way out of bad, sticky situations. Meanwhile, all this did for Han was highlight the fact that the rebellious nature was always strong in him. Now, it doesn't take Han long to prove that he's had enough of his dim and worrisome life on Corellia, because much like Simone the Digger, our boy begins to fight for something better by grabbing a rock, thermal detonator, and throwing it into a nearby window to burn the hell out of Proxima with a ray of sunshine. He grabs his partner's hand and they both begin the race of a journey to something new. And they were almost home free, but upon reaching the checkpoint to make it off that godforsaken planet, Kira at the last minute was snatched up by Proxima's goons. Han's back was against the wall, so he did what any reasonable person in that situation would do. He joined the Imperial Naval Academy to become a pilot? Best in the galaxy? Well, alright. So time just flies by. We now see Han 3 years later. His wings have been clipped and he's no longer a pilot due to his rebellious nature. And now he's a grunt soldier. He finds himself visually back to square one, covered in dirt and sweat, with little direction or escape. That is, until my dude runs into Captain Beckett. He's the type of dude to shoot you in the leg, then have the nerve to ask you how your day been. So trustworthy? I think not. But he's just what our dear old boy Han needs to escape his current predicament. Turns out, Beckett ain't about that teaming up Justice League head-ass noise. So he labels our hero a deserter and gets him thrown in a pit with a malnourished Wookiee who, just like Mr. Solo here, is covered in dirt and in a bad situation. So these fools get on that Sekiro Shadows Die Twice shit and sneak themselves out of the pit, and one thing leads to another, and there they are teaming up with Mr. Beckett for a quick score. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna let you guys know, the job goes south and things get seemingly worse because the band of boys find out that this wasn't just some quick job, but it was in fact a big gig given to him by Dryden Voss. And with a name like that, yo, my man had no real reason not to become a villain. So Beckett, Han, and Chewie make their way to Dryden in order to save face. Upon reaching Dryden's ship, one of the first things out of Beckett's mouth is keep your head down, don't talk to anybody. These people are not your friends. They will never be your friends. Now, keep in mind I'm paraphrasing here. And shortly after Han is warned, we get our very first shot of Vision, Dryden. And then literally the first thing we see is this fool murking somebody. Then, as if on cue, Han's old flame pops up. She's dressed all elegant like, drenched in the finest wares from head to toe, the total opposite of how she once looked from when we last saw her on Corellia 3 years prior. Han and Kira share some pretty damn cute moments while playing catch up, but yo, hold up. Look at them in earlier shots of the film. They both are covered in dirt along with some wear and tear, the total opposite of the Empire's clean and pristine clothing. Now, if we look closely, we can see she's rocking that all black everything look, which upon first glance doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But I seem to remember someone else having that exact same aesthetic. Oh yeah, the evil ass dude who went full Batosai to manslayer and shanked somebody a few minutes ago. This visually paints a pretty clear picture that she is not the same woman we once knew. Now, I'd like to talk about this shot I spoke of earlier that comes around 52 minutes into the movie. See, I said earlier how one could perceive this movie as the learning experience for Han. He's essentially given two paths to follow, that of Kira, the one person who means the absolute most to him, or the path of Mr. Beckett. I feel as though this shot perfectly encapsulates Han's dilemma. He's standing in between both of them and hasn't quite made a decision yet. All he knows is he cares for Kira deeply. For me, yours truly, Kira and Tobias come off as the angel and the devil on the shoulders of Han. So let's look at Kira. Everything from her comes off as a warning of some kind, as if she's not safe. Prior to kissing him, she tries informing him of her not so innocent actions and pushes him away. Okay, on to Beckett. Most conversations with him involve Tobias trying to reach and offer guidance of some kind to help Han, even if he doesn't necessarily agree with the way Mr. Solo approaches certain issues. Hell, he definitely tries to warn Han that maybe his old flame Kira can't be trusted. He did tell Han right as they arrived onto Dryden's ship that none of these people can be trusted. Shit, even their approaches in combat tell you a lot about them. Look, Tobias does this typical badass spaghetti western gunfighting style. Meanwhile, Miss Kira does a sneaky assault that even the likes of L3, an extremely knowledgeable droid, says she's never seen anything quite like that before. It's as if Kira isn't above using duplicitous or underhanded tactics to get the W. Also, look at the way he carries himself, like he's something out of a heroic Western tale, but our girl over here acts as if she's ready to attend somebody's funeral. Now, she's lighthearted around Han, sure, but other than that, she comes off hella villainy. Say what you will about Tobias, selfish yes, but he was also compassionate, especially after he realized Han was a good dude. Shit man, he was teaching Solo up until his demise at the hands of Solo himself. Like I said before, this film was ultimately the tutelage of Han Solo, and in the end Beckett was right. Kira did betray him. She was not to be trusted. And look, the movie ends with Solo graduating, metaphorically speaking. He becomes a true hero in the end, not taking the Beckett path, nor the Kira path, but somewhere in the middle, his own path. Now, even though my guy throughout the movie steals and does some other wild shit, this isn't too crazy of a stretch for him to become a hero, especially when you consider how the movie started. It opens with a damn near pitch black shot until our boy Han comes along and brings forth light into said shot, which lets us know that he is our hero, yet he's not above crime. It's somewhat symbolic. See, on this pretty messed up planet known as Corellia, Han rebelled and wanted to bring about a little light in a dark, dark world. Whether you realized it or not, we the audience were told everything we needed to know about Han as a character, and we hadn't even hit the 1 minute mark yet. That blew my mind when I first noticed that. I was in the theater like,
Gentlemen, you have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
and yo, isn't that what film as a medium all about? To tell stories visually? If not, then I majored in the wrong craft. Well, my fellow nerd and nerdettes, it's been real. Thanks for letting me chat your ear off today. And guys, let me know what were your initial impressions of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Let me know in the comment section below, whether it be good or bad. I'd like to hear your opinions. I'm not the type of guy that gets bent out of shape based off someone having opposing opinions on something to me. I welcome all. And also, guys, check me out on Twitter and everywhere else at Featuring Dez, all one word. And also, please, please check out my editor. You can find him on YouTube at Beyond Animation. The dude is a beast. So please go give him some love, spread the love, give him a like or whatever. Go check out his videos. I believe he just dropped a new Star Wars video. So yeah. All right, guys, this is Jedi Dez from Featuring Dez, signing out. And may the Force be with you. Peace.